If you're single and you've made a decision that you are never going to settle again, that you are only holding out for quality men, and you're on the dating apps, number one, never respond to just someone liking my picture. If a guy doesn't have the confidence to say something, even just, hello, how are you? Move past those guys immediately. They're lazy. Number two, if you cannot envision kissing them, it's a non-starter right there. Number three, get on a phone call with them. Definitely want to talk to this person before you meet up with them. Number four, if a guy asks to see a picture of you after he's just looked at like 10 photos of you on the dating app, I find that weird and just rude. I'm going to need like extra verification that you're as cute as you are in your photo. Like, block that person. A guy that you want to date has confidence. He's got class. He's not going to ask you again to see a photo of you. If you meet a guy who lives in another state and he asks if you'll come like to his state and you feel comfortable with it, if he doesn't buy your ticket and put you up in a hotel, don't go.
Ho, ho, ho! Fiction can be fun.
That's right, fam. You heard it straight from this queen. Ladies, if you are single and you have decided you're never going to settle again, just follow her advice. I mean, she's obviously the best example to follow. It's not like single women try to keep women single, but hey, let's go through her awesome advice. Number one, don't respond to a guy who just likes your pic. Obviously, we all know that this applies to the bulk of the men because you women aren't going to settle for Mr. Average, even though all of you are mids yourselves. But don't fool yourself. A Chad Tyrone chiseled model, all he has to do is give you a like and you're quickly texting him like, hey, how are you? In other words, you're well on your way to give up those cheeks to the top 10% of guys. Number two, if you can't see yourself kissing them, that's a non-starter right there. I actually agree with this one. The only problem is that based off of looks alone, sure, a lot of queens can't see themselves kissing a lot of guys. But then again, you see he's got like a yacht, an expensive car, a lot of money, and a penthouse. Somehow, some way, he just became kissable, you know, because of the vibes. Number three, get on a phone call with them. I absolutely 100% agree with this because that is part of the vetting process. Both men and women should be practicing that. And hold up a second there, Colleen. You're saying your number four is if a guy asks for an extra pictures other than the ones that you had in your profiles to verify if you're cute, block him? So let me get this straight. You have the right to demand to talk to him on the phone to verify him, but he doesn't have the right to verify you? The person who should be blocked here is you. Not him, especially if he has a higher SMV than you. A guy who asks you for another photo of you to verify, it has nothing to do with his confidence or his class. It has everything to do with you. And if you have a problem double verifying who you are, and you definitely are the one who needs to get blocked there, sister. And also, an out-of-state guy who invites you to go has to buy you a ticket and put you up in a hotel. Tell everybody that you're a gold digger without telling everybody you're a gold digger. Gee, sister, notice how your advice completely ignored the fact that that could be dangerous. I guess the saying is true. The further past a wall smashing you queens get, the more delusional you get. Moving on.
Hello. So can we just take a minute and talk about, just brief. This is not my area of expertise, like the opposite of, but can we discuss dating in your 50s? Yeah, so I have lately decided to make an effort to do what is being called decentering men. So I am focusing on me and dating myself, but I'm also out there trying to meet people in the wild or even on the apps, but I'm not doing it in a way that is taking up my time, and I am more than happy to spend time by myself. But can I just say, I am so over this weird ghosting culture.
You know, Queen, that was a very long-winded way to say that you are tired of choosing Chads and Tyrones and then having them ghost you after they've had their way with your roast beef, aka adding on mileage, aka taking a little bit more traction off those treads. This girl that wants to help this queen out. First off, I have to tell you, the reason this is a shock to you and you're saying that you want to concentrate on yourself right now, it's because you haven't come to terms with the fact that your SMV is past its expiration date. You're in your 50s, but by the way you act, I could tell that you still think that dating should be like it was in your 20s or somewhere around that area. It's not going to happen. You're not going to get the attention you used to get. This girl has no doubt that when you were younger, you used to pull in some very attractive young men and they would do a bunch of things for you, but now, you're saying that the ghosting is affecting you? Well, guess what, sister? That's what men have been dealing with since day one. Here's the question. When you were in your 20s, did you ever ghost a guy? Did you ever ignore a guy that you weren't interested in? I'm 99.9% sure that the answer is an overwhelming yes. And if it is a yes, then why oh why do you feel that you are entitled to not be ghosted now in your 50s when their SMV's higher? What goes around comes around, sister.
Now, not all the men I have been on dates with ghost me, but I can say more than half of them have. I don't need anything to be an amazing connection, and if it's been one date, I don't care. But sometimes it's like 4 weeks or more, and suddenly I no longer exist. Now, when I first got divorced and started dating, one man did this to me. This is 7.5 years ago, and I literally thought he must have, because I had been married for 16 years, and I didn't even know this was a thing. It was just so unheard of to me, and I was like, no. He must have had a heart attack. Yeah, no, obviously, that's not what happened. He ghosted me. Anyway, I don't know why I'm sharing this. It just feels like a public service message. And any advice on how to meet men in the wild at my age, I will be open for suggestions. All right. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day. And I guess I will talk to you all, next time. Okay, bye.
Damn!
Oh wow, ghosting is shocking. What a culture shock. Well, all I gotta say is, ghosting is not shocking to men because women have been doing it to them for the longest time. What do you think men learned it from? Anyway, you're saying that you dated men for weeks and they ghosted you? Alright, sister, there are a couple possibilities here. One possibility is that the guys who ghost you after a week, they basically figured out that, it was pointless to continue to go on with you. Maybe you're a prude. Maybe you have some attitude problems they don't like. They have their own reasons. And the guy who dated you for 4 weeks and he ghosted you? One of two possibilities. Either A, you were dangling a carrot in front of him and he just got tired of it. Or B, after he smashed the roast beef, he figured there really wasn't anything else for him. So he was like, yeah, whatever. The point is, out of all those men that ghost you, there is one common denominator. You. Now, to be fair, you're asking for advice of dating in your 50s. Okay, the best advice this gorilla can give you is, why don't you go back to your ex, see if he takes you back, because honestly, it's not going to get much better. You got to understand that in your 50s, you have less to offer men. And when I say less, I mean less of what they're interested in. I don't think the problem is where you're meeting men at. I think the problem is, regardless of where you meet them, the results are going to be the same because you're the same. My best advice is find a guy, preferably a male family member who's not a blue pill beta simp, that's a straight shooter, and he'll tell you what your problem is. He won't pull any punches. You're going to feel really beat up. You're going to feel really crappy, but guess what? Those are the lumps that you need to take in order to better yourself. Let's put it this way. You're an amateur with a losing record who keeps climbing in the ring with heavyweight contenders, and you can't figure out why you keep getting knocked out. But hey, not every fighter's championship material now, are they? Moving on.
But I do find the problem with dating a lot of guys that are my age, like around my age in the 50s, a lot of them don't take that great care of themselves. A lot of them, they can't even tell you the last time they've been to a doctor, a dentist. Some of them smoke. Some of them drink a lot. Just they don't take care of themselves. And I'm not saying go out and get Botox, which is Botox for men. But work out. Walk. Take care of your health. Get your teeth cleaned. Get your teeth whitened. Get your teeth replaced if they've fallen out. Go to the doctor. See if there's anything wrong with you. If I'm going to be with you, I don't want you to, come on. So, and a lot of them still dress like 30 years ago, 20 years ago. Get with the times. I can't. And then all they want to talk about is back in my day. Back in my day. So it's so annoying, to hear these old war stories. How when you had money and when you did this and now that's cute, once in a while I don't mind hearing the stories, but my God, number one, if you're not making money now, I really don't want to deal with you. How did you used to have money and you don't know how to make money? If you had the skills then, you should still have the skills now, right?
Yeah, but the hose!
Oh, what? It's too hard to get the hose?
This gorilla finds it funny when you have this decade's post-wall former reality star, Lonely Fans having account super plastic queen who makes all kinds of videos about her Botox and her vaginal tighten procedures and her liposuction and everything that she does, thinks that she has the high ground to talk down to men her age. Sister, let me tell you something. The only men that deal with you are blue pill beta simps. In other words, the reason they talk about back in my day, blah, 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 is because the guys that you want don't want you. In your case, regardless of how much lube you use, that roast beef is drier than the Sahara Desert. You are well past your prime, but you think you could pull like you could in your 20s. Honey, at this point, 1/3 of your body is plastic. Tugged, pulled, tweaked, and yanked in 50 different directions. And it's kind of funny that right now you want a guy with money so he can pay your next round of liposuction. What do you have to offer a man, be honest, that gives you this high ground to talk down to men? Don't get me wrong, you look good for your age, a woman who's getting close to 60, but don't have any doubts about it. When men look at you, they're thinking, oh wow, she's a former kind of corn star. The kind that you take her and you power drive her through the mattress, but you do not ever buy her a ring. I mean, the way you talk about men, well, if you used to make money, what stops you from making money now? Well, for the same reason that when you used to be able to have babies, you can't have babies now. It's in the past. Well, sweetheart, I hope your suction skills are second to none because from the way it looks, probably is one of your last good features left.
And it's all relative. Like kids in their 20s now, in 30 years, will be saying that they prefer the music that's right now, which I think the majority is trash. Not all. There is some good music. I'm very open-minded. I listen to everything. But it's relative. But, you know, I don't just listen to 90s music and early 2000s music and 80s music. Yes, I still listen to it, but that's not all I listen to. But I know people that's like they're stuck in a time machine, like a time zone. Like it's weird. Like I can't. I like to try new things and do new things, but they don't. So when I go on a date, that's all they want to talk about was back in the day and things used to be and when it was and the good old days. Yeah, I agree. Things were a lot greater. Like I loved the 80s. The 80s were my favorite decade of all time. I mean, the hair, the fashion, the music, everything was amazing. So much fun. We hung out at the mall. But those days are gone and it is what it is. Time goes on, but you have to grow. Like I said yesterday, you always have to grow and evolve or you're going to get left behind in life. I'm always trying to learn new technology, new skills, things like that. And I'm always going to be this way. I love learning, but I can't go out with a guy that's just stuck in the 90s or the 80s or the 70s. Oh, God. I can't. I can't.
Oh, the irony of this whole thing. Let me get this straight, Colleen. You say that you can't go out with a guy who's stuck in the past, yet you constantly are getting a plastic surgery done to look younger because you want to stay in your past, i.e. younger, fitter, tighter, all of the above. Listen, Queen, this gorilla understands that not every guy is exciting, and there are a good amount of guys out there that can be boring conversations. And yes, a guy stuck in the past, not the funnest person to be around. But as I always say to women, expectation management is warranted. Did you stop for 1 minute and think, hey, who's the common denominator in all these dates? Oh, that would be me. Yeah, the problem? Probably not the guys. Probably the one who keeps choosing the same guys over and over again. Now, at the same time, this gorilla knows why you keep dating the same type of guys. It probably has to do with the fact that your dating pool is a shallow puddle because you've made it that way. You overexposed yourself over the years, you push it too far, and a lot of men just don't want to take you serious. And you are probably choosing these types of guys because they are the few that are willing to take you serious. They're the blue pill beta simps that could probably take care of you. Or at least you think they can take care of you. And you want dedication from them. Yeah, you want a ring. You want to have that awesome retirement. Well, the money you made in your youth when you pushed your physical features and exchanged all that to get paid, well, they came with problems later in life. And here you are facing the consequences of those problems. There really isn't anyone else you could blame but yourself. You painted yourself into this corner. I mean, let's be honest. The best thing you could do right now is date a guy in his 70s. At least with him, you retain more value than guys in their 50s. And they're probably not savvy enough to know what OF is. I'm just saying, if you enjoy this audit, click on the video in the end screen for more content. If you would like to support the channel, please follow the link in the description to donate to our beer fund. Or like, subscribe, and share this video on other social media platforms. If you agree or disagree with anything about this audit, please let us know in the comments. I'm going to leave this audit right here. I'll see all of you in the next episode.